Hi, I'm Deanna Joe, and welcome to my channel, Responsible Faith. Today, I'd like to share how my channel got started. I wasn't actually looking for this. In fact, if you had told me at the beginning of last year that I would be doing this channel, I would have been shocked and probably slightly terrified at the thought. I wasn't interested in controversy or opening myself up to conflict and personal attack. My life was pretty peaceful and I liked it that way. Now, I left the UPC about 17 years ago, but I guess in many ways I had sort of begun to study my way out more than 25 years ago when I was still a teenager. When you love Jesus, you want to please him, but you also don't want to be burdened down by things that aren't necessary. Unfortunately, Christianity can become so complicated that his yoke isn't easy, his burden isn't light, and the gospel's not good news anymore. It's just exhausting. And so that often is what prompts people to start asking questions. For many of us who leave, it's not rebellion. We're just tired and we want to know what Scripture really says. We usually start by looking into some of the teachings that we feel like are smothering us in our everyday lives, the ones that don't seem to make a whole lot of sense. I feel like I had to study my way to normal. Everyday things that other women just wake up and do without giving it a thought, I had to study to earn the right to do without worry and guilt. Things like wearing jeans or makeup or putting on a little necklace in the morning. And early on, I admit I resented all the time that I had to waste picking my way through these teachings, only to find out that much of it wasn't even scriptural. I did learn one thing, though, to take responsibility for my own faith and to look up every single thing I was told. So I guess in a way it was a valuable lesson. When people leave legalistic groups, they're often accused of taking the easy way out. But anyone who's ever left one knows there is nothing easy about it. The fallout can be overwhelming. You have the potential shunning and judgment to consider, which can make even a trip to your local grocery store a stressful situation. The loss of your community and relationships, sometimes even family members. The confrontational nature of some of the people in these groups who seem thrilled at the opportunity to put you in hell. And then, of course, the fear, because some ministers do preach that doom, gloom, and disaster will follow anyone who leaves the truth. And so these factors make it so hard that many who do want to leave end up just staying because it's so intimidating. And I do understand that. Over the years, I've heard gory stories told about people who left and disaster overtook them and their family because of God's judgment. And this is such a manipulative, fear-based, even cultic strategy to keep people from considering the thoughts that they're thinking and the fears and questions they're having. I've even had the thought since I started this channel, I hope nothing negative happens to me or my family right now, because there are people who would love to point to me as a cautionary tale to discredit what I'm saying. Never mind the fact that when my family was UPC, I had chronic health problems as a small child. We had deaths and diseases in our family. Accidents, job losses, all normal parts of the human experience. Nobody blamed them on God then, but they might now. Now, they might view God as ignoring all the other evils in the world to punish me for speaking out or for putting on tinted lip gloss or mascara or jeans. The truth is, many who leave prosper and are very happy. And both those who leave and those who stay face life's challenges. I actually have a special place in my heart for UPC people, and I've always felt bad when they would privately confide in me about doubts and fears that they were having, questions about the dress standards. I would usually just point them to certain scriptures and encourage them to study it out. But I was thankful to be past that stage myself. I had put in the work and had moved on, so I thought. It's been a tradition for me to ring in the new year by setting aside some time with God. I usually, I pray for my family and for wisdom and direction for the upcoming year, but it's something I do on my own terms, and it differs from year to year. Some years I don't really do that much. Last year was one of those years. So ringing in 2019, we enjoyed a low-key New Year's Eve at home, snacks and a movie night. And that evening, out of the blue, a random chorus popped into my head. And as soon as it came to me, I felt a strong peace and presence of God. And I was very emotional, which was weird. I'm not typically an overly emotional person. And it's not even like that song had ever been a favorite of mine. It was the chorus, Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, I'll include a link in the description section so you can give it a listen. I really didn't know what to make of it, but I guess I just kind of figured, well, maybe God wanted me to seek him this year and experience him in my life more, which was great because that was what I wanted too. So it sort of seemed like the end of it, but as the months went by, that song would occasionally hit me like a ton of bricks, always out of the blue, always with a strong presence of God and an uncharacteristic emotional response from me. I still didn't know what to think, so I just sort of took it as, well, maybe this is my song for the year, and God, maybe God will be close to me this year. Now in the spring, I joined a Facebook group for women embracing their gray hair, taking mine for a test drive in an effort to avoid harsh chemicals. We'll see. I'm not committed entirely. In that group, someone posted a video they found online of a lady in a jean skirt with her hair clean to the floor. And of course, they were wondering, like, oh my goodness, why would anyone grow their hair this long? And so I had commented and said she looked like a member of the religious group that I had grown up in, and that this was part of their religious expression, and that might be why she had. So a lady from that group mentioned a private Facebook support group she was in for people who've left legalistic and abusive religious groups. She unknowingly started this journey for me. So thanks, Pam. So I joined, and once I did, my eyes were open to how many people were struggling with fear as they exited strict religious groups. I realized how much we all had in common, even though we came from different backgrounds and denominations. The scare tactics used to keep people from leaving seemed to be exactly the same in all of them. For the last few years, whenever I would listen to online teaching, my husband would say, you need to start a YouTube channel. That's something that you could do. I feel like you'd be good at that. And so I never really seriously considered it because I didn't feel like I had anything to say that hadn't been said a million times by people way more eloquent than me. I guess I figured if I had ever started a YouTube channel for anything, it would probably be like home decorating and renovating. But as I read some of the questions and posts in the group, I realized some of the things I had studied in the past might actually be encouraging for people. So I decided to make a few videos and just see how I felt about it, but I was still super hesitant to launch the channel. Then someone in the group asked what people thought about taking communion unworthily. Well, I had just made a video about that portion of scripture. And in a moment of bravery, I shared the link to my video, which was sitting unlisted on YouTube, and she watched it and liked it and shared it on her personal Facebook page, not realizing that I hadn't made it public yet. I hadn't publicized any of my videos. So at that point, I just figured, okay, I guess it's time. The video's out there now anyway, and so it really was the push that I needed to get things rolling, so it was a good thing. Needless to say, the last 6 months has been so interesting. I have met people online. I've talked to people on the phone. I've had so many people share their stories with me, and it's really been such a blessing to me. It sort of feels like the years of pain and rejection that I went through were in a total waste. I have had accusations of bitterness, rebellion, and leading people away from the truth roll in, and I was prepared for that. I expected that. Now, some feel like I'm bashing the UPC because I criticize their teachings, but anything I've done with this channel was driven out of love for people and a desire to help and encourage. I've also been asked why I can't just let this go after all this time. Why bother? And until recently, I didn't really have an answer. I couldn't put it into words. But this fall, a sermon that I heard years ago came back to my mind. The Old Testament speaks of cities of refuge. You'll find references in Numbers 35, Deuteronomy 19, and Joshua 20. And in the unfortunate event of an involuntary manslaughter, there was a risk that the blood avenger would kill the person who had caused it before he ever got to trial, even though it was an accident. They had a real eye for an eye thing going on back then. So cities of refuge were established so that when an accidental death occurred, the person who caused it could run to the city of refuge to avoid sudden death and have a shot at a fair trial. According to Talmudic writings, and the Talmud is sort of like an encyclopedia of Jewish life to an extent, there had to be clear signage pointing to the cities of refuge, and the roads leading to them had to be straight, level, kept in good repair, and free of debris to give the accused a fair chance to make it there safely. Any debris in his path could cause him to stumble and be overcome. Keeping the path clear was crucial to his chances of survival. I view many of these extra rules and teachings as unnecessary debris on the path to Jesus. They're burdensome and unscriptural, and they're matters of personal conviction that have unfortunately become requirements for some groups, and they've become stumbling blocks for many people. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do here with this channel. I'm trying to clear the debris off the path to Jesus so that people who want to run to him for refuge stand a better chance of making it. That's my heart. That's why I can't just let this go. And in October of this year, again, that song, Lord Prepare Me to Be a Sanctuary, hit me like a ton of bricks. And I just felt this strong push to look up the word sanctuary, the definition. So I did. And this is what I found. Sanctuary is just what you'd think. It's a church, a temple, or a holy place. But it's also a place of safety and a refuge. And that hit me when I read it. And I hadn't even considered that meaning in light of the song. But it clicked for me. That's what my year was going to become about. I just didn't realize it. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary or a safe place. Pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. My prayer is that God will use me to be a safe place for people to share their stories, and that this channel will be a place where people can consider ideas and question some truths that have been taught to them in churches. And not just UPC. I've had several people from various different backgrounds contact me. So my hope is in the end that it will point us all to Jesus and will help bring some much needed healing, comfort, and peace of mind. And I'm really thankful for the opportunity to have met so many fellow truth seekers along the way, and I look forward to the upcoming year and would like to thank everyone who's been supportive of me so far in this project. So if you like my channel, you can hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and YouTube will let you know whenever I post a new video. And I just wanted to say Happy New Year and God bless.